Yep, taking a movie of my two boys and being very artsy with colored chalk because it's raining outside. Should be snowing, but now we can have a little perimeter of chalk around everything. So while they're in here playing with the chalk, today I'm working on converting over a B2650 50-inch wide Kubota snow thrower. It's kind of the first attempt at getting things working with that. So the reason I'm using this is because the PTO on this tractor and all my tractors has a counterclockwise output, or clockwise if you're looking at it from this direction. And there's not too many snow throwers out there that take a counterclockwise input, but this is one of them that does. And one easy way to tell is if you're looking at it from the back side of it, the chute discharges off to the right, so the fan in there has to go counterclockwise as you're looking at the unit. So this one happens to work for that. I also got a pretty good deal. I paid, I think it was $550, and I go get it. It was about a 3-hour trip. But I think new they're around $3 grand or so, and then came with all the attachments and everything. A couple there, and there's a couple outside too for the Kubotas, and so I hate to not use any of that stuff, but oh well, maybe someday I can sell that if anybody's interested in it. Okay, so one of the first things I had to do was check the speed input on this, and this is a different sprocket, or sprocket than what was originally on there. This is a Martin, I don't know if you can see that, D4 0B26, so it's a 26 tooth. The original one on there was a 35 tooth, I think, so a little bit bigger. Had to go with a smaller sprocket because the output on this PTO is around 2,000 RPM at rated engine speed of 2,700 RPM. From what I can gather, the Kubotas run, let's see, how does that work? I'm forgetting the numbers now. The Kubotas run, I want to say around 3,500 RPM input to the snowblower. So because I have that slower speed, I gotta increase the speed of the fan drive shaft and the auger. So I went from a 35 to that 26. So hopefully that will work. Ran into a little issue this weekend because I took apart the input shaft, and the bearing was bad right here. This bearing here was okay. A little bit dirty looking, but it was used when I bought it. So here's the bearing. You can see the seal's good on that side and no seal on that side, so it's got all full of dirt and it's just grinding away. So I'm glad I found it. The other problem, or I shouldn't say a problem, but the other issue I read about these is this sprocket, this drive sprocket, tends to slip on the shaft, and I see somebody already went in and welded that, so that's good. I don't have to mess with that. There's the chain. I'll reuse that. I gotta shorten it a little bit because I got that smaller output sprocket. And what else did we do today? Eventually I'm going to put wheels on here. Oh, another nice thing about this unit, it's a lot lighter than a 1948 Boland's. It doesn't have the heavy gearbox on it, and supposedly that unit, as it stands there, well, with the chain and stuff, is supposedly 200 pounds. It seems like it's heavier than that. But it's certainly much lighter than the 1948, so probably still pushing the limits of this tractor, but I always wanted to have a two-stage snow thrower, and they're just really hard to come by, or other than the 1948. So we'll try this one. It's lighter and should work. So I'll have to change the oil in the gearbox. The seals look okay. It's kind of wet around them, but unless it's pouring out of there, I'm probably not going to change them. The shafts are free, so the shear pins should work okay. Sometimes these tubes get seized up on the shaft, and then your shear pins won't work, and that's not a good thing. So that I don't have to mess with that. What else was I? Oh yeah, I'll put wheels on here eventually. Oh, I had a crack right there too. I had a weld up. Don't look too close at the weld, but it was cracked about down to there, and I just try to weld it out. So I'll have to keep my eye on that. And then the last thing I did today was first attempts at putting this drive on here to electrify it, so it'll be similar to my other snow thrower. I'll just keep all the wiring the same. I'm not sure if I'm going to put limit switches on here yet. I would like to, but that takes a long time, and so did this. And but I got a lot of time because the weather here is not snowing, and it hardly ever snows, so instead of out using my equipment, I end up spending time fixing it. The way this tilts up here is a little bit different. The hinge is in the back side here, so I'm probably not going to be able to put the same type of angle, electric drive angle as on my other one I had a movie of. But I don't know, we'll see what we got. And evidently this hasn't been used in a while, so it's, I can't even, oh there we go, bee's nest in there. Knock that out. Not that it's being used, but I don't know if bees reuse bees nests, but I don't want to test it. So I'll have to figure out something there with tilting this up and down. That might be more difficult than the other one. So anyway, a little demo of power supply. Oops. Watch where you're walking. Power supply is 20 amp, 50 volt DC power supply. I got set at 13.5 volts right now just to operate the motors, which is 12 volt. I kind of wish some of these motors had more of them available off eBay. I paid 15 bucks a piece for them, and they came with a little coupler and kind of like a star type drive on them, which would be awkward to make something for if you didn't have the coupler. The coupler is like some kind of plastic or Bakelite or something. It seems to hold up okay. Let's see. Yeah, I can't find a lot of them, and it's just a power window motor, just like most of them you see on snow blowers. It looks like people put them on. 1948 had them too, but a little bit different brand. So anyway, I just have a switch wired up to go back and forth with it, and we'll give her a little try here. So not really the fastest, but better than cranking it by hand. Yeah. I wish I had another hand. Can't really. There we go. So, and it pulls around 3.5 amps in this direction, about 5 the other way. So I'll have to look at. I don't know if I'm missing some pieces in these hold downs here or not. I don't know if they're supposed to have some Teflon in there or what, but anyway, it does work. Wobbles a little bit. Getting that alignment is not the easiest, and not without machine capabilities, which I don't have. Hopefully someday. But that'll be good enough for the back, forth, or left, right, and then I'll have to just do something with the up, down, and then of course I still have to figure out how to adapt this to the tractor, which I don't know if I'll use the existing mount. Probably try and make use of most of that. The other thing I don't know about yet, but I have to look at, is the shaft. This is the Kubota shaft that came with it. looks to be like a 1-inch shaft with a set screw and a 1/4-inch keyway. And then it's got a kind of a square input on this side. That's different than the Iseki tractors. They have the shafts over on the other snowblower, but they have the male shaft coming from the gearbox. So I'm hoping what would be really awesome is if that shaft would just bolt up to the input shaft with the same size bore and keyway that this has. But I'd have to get pretty lucky for that to happen. Otherwise I'll have to figure out something else. So I'll cross that bridge when I get to it, which might be the toughest bridge, but figure I'll get her one way or another. So, oh, just on this too, if you happen to come, I think they have quite a few of these that would work. A B2650, I think they make a B2550, they make a 2660, and I think they're all set up for counterclockwise input. But this particular one, the Sprocket is, it's got a 1-inch bore. A buddy of mine bored it and keyed it for a, it's like .998 and then a 1/4-inch keyway, and that's just enough. It fit really nice. Had to just tap it on with hammer. I mean, tap it kind of hard on so it's not going to go anywhere, and then put a Allen bolt in it. Set screw for holding the keyway. Hold it on a little bit better, so hopefully that'll hold up. We'll see. So that's kind of what you'd be looking up against when you get these. Normally come with like a 5/8 bore, I think, and they're just a straight bore with no keyway. So you got to plan on boring that out and then putting the broach it for the key. So that's probably the hardest part if you don't have machining capabilities. And so that's kind of where we're at. We'll shoot another one as we get some more work done here. Hopefully the next time I shoot it, we'll be close to having it hooked up, but we'll see. Thanks for watching, and look forward to the next installment.